I'm not feeling great. I'm a little sick. Trying to get organized with a head cold is an experience unto itself. Let's go. What's up, folks? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dave Connery, and I'm an artist and designer based out of California, and I make things. And apparently I make viruses because... Anyway, so what do I want to talk to you guys about today quickly because my voice is probably gonna go. Let's get ramped up for 2020, shall we? Let's make 2020 the most formidable year we possibly can by getting ourselves organized and ready for some fantastic stuff. I'm calling 2020 the year of get your shiz together. Let me tell you what this all stems from. Over the last couple of weeks, I made a decision to really refine the work that I do, to start really bringing together the two worlds that I have, the art and the design, trying to really bring them together as much as I possibly can. So 2020 is gonna be a pivotal year for me. Now I say that almost every year, but really I've got this mindset going that I think that 2020 is gonna be an interesting year as I start to bring these two worlds closer together. So we're gonna talk about four things today. We're gonna talk about organizing, we're gonna talk about focus, we're gonna talk about trash, and we're gonna talk about goals. So now within those groups, there are three subsets. One is work, one is business, one is life. Now the work is the work, the stuff that you're doing on a daily basis. The business is the stuff that incorporates all that together. What are you doing to sell your stuff? How are you running your business? And then of course the life is the stuff that encompasses that. How are you building your life into your business or vice versa? Where do we need to make some cuts if necessary? So we'll start with organization first. One thing I've been doing today, because I've kind of been down on the couch all day, is I've been organizing myself. I've been getting my files in check because I needed an overhaul. I needed to back up my stuff. It'd been a while since I backed up my computer, so I needed to get my stuff in check. So I started going through my files, and what I noticed is that there was a lot of files that were just like all over the place. My organization wasn't terrible. I know some people that do some pretty terrible organization, but mine was like, it was getting to the point where a little bit of that OCD was kicking in to say, like, you need to get yourself in check, Dave. Now this is a much bigger subject. We could go deep into this if I wanted to, but basically just going through and organizing my stuff and getting it ready so that when I start in 2020 to really kick this whole thing off, that I've got all the framework in my computer ready to go. Like, it's super easy to get to. I know where everything's at, and everything is super organized. That's my biggest project that I'm gonna be working on over the next few days. Something else I wanna do is I wanna organize my business a little bit better. I have had a couple of different business entities operating at the same time, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna close all of those business entities because really it comes down to taxes. I wanna have one business entity. I'm gonna incorporate all of those things into that one business entity, and then I'm gonna organize myself around that idea. The new business identity is gonna be called Dave Connery Art and Design. And so all of that stuff is gonna fall into it, whether I sell the canvases over there or I sell the design projects on the computer right here, moving it all together, and that way it's all one big happy family. So I got my new business license coming, I got taxes in check, I gotta set up something for invoicing and whatnot. I've got all that organized. I gotta send out all these business license things to the people that have had merchant accounts with me, and so I can figure out, I gotta get all that stuff organized before 2020 starts. Part of organizing the business is also understanding what I wanna focus on and what I want to do, and so I've really been kind of having a lot of conversations with myself, a little heart-to-hearts with myself about the type of work that I want to do, and we'll go into that deeper as well in the future. But right now you just need to understand that all of this is coming together somehow. Now I'm not 100% sure how the art works with the design very seamlessly, because there's obviously a delineation between those two, but I'm working on that. That's one of these things that this is gonna take the process of maybe the rest of 2020 to actually figure out. But there's gonna be a coming together of these things at some point, and so that's it's just something I've got to put in process now so that I understand what's coming. A lot of things to think about on the business side, but I also need to think about my life, because the life also is going to dictate what kind of business gets done. So I need to figure out how to reorganize my life in order to fit the new business model. Now, not much is going to change, but I do definitely need to get my life back in check, because I got a little bit off my calendar, got a little bit off my schedule, so I need to get my schedule back in check and make sure that that's working well. And one of the things that I need to do better, that I haven't been fantastic about in the past, but I need to do better this year, is I need to make sure that I treat the time that's work as work time. It's almost like, even though I'm here in the studio or here in the house, I'm actually at work instead of being in the house, treating the time that I'm down working as office time. It's easier said than done, because while I'm sitting there at the desk or sitting there at the table or sitting on the couch working on something, it's super easy for me to just jump in like, oh, I want to go get something to eat, so I'll go to the kitchen. Oh, and then there's dishes. Oh, I got to do laundry. Oh, my son's coming home from school. I got to hang out with him. So I got to get all of that stuff organized. I got to get myself in check when it comes to the organization. So that's that first section of organization. Now let's talk about focus. So the first part of this is the work. Now I've talked about this already a little bit, but essentially my thinking is that I've got my design projects and I've got my art projects, and somewhere there's this happy medium. Now they don't have to be identical. It doesn't have to be just one thing, but there should be elements of my art in the design and there should be elements of the design in the work. And so that when people see it, they go to my website, they go to my portfolio, they go wherever, they understand that these two things come together. I'm not 100% sure how that works out yet, because they really are diametrically opposed at certain points, but there is possibility there. And the only way to do that is to just keep trying to work. The more work I do with that in mind, the more work I'm gonna generate that feels like it fits in that place. Number two part of this is the business. How am I focusing on the business? Making sure that I'm taking care of myself when it comes to my taxes and my invoicing and getting paid. Making sure that I'm taking care of the things that need to get done. Collecting my receipts, scanning the receipts, doing all of that busy work. Sometimes I have to spend 2 or 3 days just focus on that, and that's not good. I'd rather just get it done now. If I get a receipt, scan it in, make sure it gets in there, apply it to whatever freelance project I need to work on, or apply it to myself. But that's the other thing. I need to make sure that I organize and focus on the business in a way that I'm treating myself as my own client. So if I make something that is for my own business, then I need to focus on myself as a business. I need to focus on myself as a client in that respect. I also need to focus on making sure that I get stuff up on the website in a timely manner. Not been a good thing for me. It's always been one of these things that I've always told myself I need to be better at, and then I never do it. So I'm a little bit empathetic about it, right? I want to make sure that I'm kind to myself and generous to myself in that respect, but I also need to hold myself accountable for the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. Number 3 on this is focus on the life. I got to make sure that I find the time to split between the business and the life. When I tell myself I'm going to be out of the business to focus on the life, to go hang out with my son, to go do the things that I want to do, then that's that. Make sure I have that clear delineation at times so that I know, okay, I'm not putting any time into business right now. I'm doing the other parts of life. I'm treating myself carefully. I'm taking good care of myself. I'm going to the gym when I need to. I'm getting my exercise. I'm hanging out with my son. I'm going to celebrate things with my family and friends. I'm doing things that are important to me as a person, and not being solely about the business. There's a fourth one here, and I need to focus on the goals. Now we'll talk about the goals in a second, but I need to make sure that I know what those goals are so that I can focus on them wherever they fall in that spectrum, whether it's focus on the work goals, focus on the business goals, or focus on the life. Now the third section is trash, and I want to be clear about this, that this is just things that I'm thinking. This does not necessarily apply to everybody. You have to figure this out on your own if you're trying to go step by step through this process. And this isn't work trash, business trash. These are all encompassing ideas. Number one thing I need to trash is distractions. I need to get rid of as many distractions as I can that keep me from the work, that keep me from the business, and that keep me from the life. So if I'm spending too much time on social media, then I need to get rid of that distraction. If I find myself doodling into a sketchbook when I should be focusing on a design project, I need to get rid of that distraction. I need to be better about removing those distractions from my life. And sometimes it might just be as simple as taking all the apps off your phone. Maybe it's people that are a distraction. Maybe there's a certain individual who's just hitting you up on the phone all the time and just constantly trying to get your attention for whatever it is that they need. And that's really kind of selfish on their part. And sometimes you may just have to say, hey, listen, I love you, but I gotta work. I'm not saying trash them, but I'm saying, hey, listen, I got to do this other thing, and so I need to trash that distraction. Something else I need to trash are the things that do not serve me, and that's both physical and maybe metaphysical, or things that don't necessarily have a physical form. So for physical, there's probably a bunch of stuff in the studio that I could get rid of that's probably keeping me away from things. I've got some stuff sitting over here that's been sitting here on the floor for a while. I probably could have put that someplace by now, but I just haven't. So it's a distraction, and so it needs to be put away. It needs to be gone somehow, some way. Other things I need to trash are the things that are keeping my computer clogged down, like all the stuff that I don't need anymore. I either need to back it up onto a hard drive or trash it and get rid of it. Or I need to get rid of anything that doesn't serve me. Sometimes it's the work that needs to be gotten rid of. Sometimes the work that I've been doing doesn't serve me anymore. Sometimes the stuff that I've done in the past it's still valid, but it's not a focus anymore. Maybe there are parts of the business that I need to let go of. Like maybe, just maybe, there's certain aspects of the things that I'm doing on a regular basis that need to be gone because they don't serve, they don't help me, they don't push me forward. Perfect example would be spending too much time on social media, because sometimes the social media that I'm on doesn't serve me. And I don't mean my time wasting, like just spending liking up pictures on Instagram, but rather spending time on Instagram period, because Instagram's organic reach has come down and I'm not ready to spend a bunch of money on Facebook. I have my opinions about Facebook. Spending money with Facebook, sure, it could be valuable, but I'm a little bit conflicted there, and so I'm not gonna put a bunch of advertising dollars into them, and since I'm not gonna put a bunch of advertising dollars into them, then Instagram is gonna be a little bit difficult for me because the organic reach is so I gotta trash that stuff if I don't feel it's serving me anymore. There are a lot of different things you can think about in regards to trash, but you just kind of have to go through that and think to yourself, does this thing serve me? Does it bring me joy or does it bring me pain? And if it's bringing you pain, well, maybe it's time to go. And perhaps one of the things that brings you pain is somebody that you love and care for, but they constantly are giving you hassle about the work that you do. Why aren't you doing something different? Taking away from your life, bringing you just, angst, because they're making your life more difficult. It's entirely possible that there's somebody in your life that's holding you back. And maybe it's time to just say, generously saying, listen, I love you, but I can't focus on a relationship anymore because you're keeping me down. You're keeping me away from my thing. You don't have to word it like that. You can be a little bit more kinder and gentler, or you can just ghost them if you want. Just maybe push that person to the back. Put them on a shelf a little bit. You need to bring in people into your life that are gonna serve you better. You need to bring in people into your life that are gonna help you along and treat you well and give you the love and support that you need, as opposed to these other people that you feel love you, but they do everything in their power to keep you down. Those people aren't serving you and they should go. And the last thing you need to trash are old ideologies. These things that we hold on to, these truths that we have said to ourselves over and over and over again, that the only way I'm gonna make money as an artist is to be this type of artist. The only way I'm gonna be successful as a designer is to do this type of work. There's only one way out of this problem. There's only one thing I'm good at. This is the way that my life should have been lived, because it's the way you've been living it the entire time. Get rid of these old ideologies and be open-minded to the idea that there might be some way new to do business. There might be some way new to do the work. There might be some way new to live your life, and that's gonna serve you better. You gotta be open to it, and you gotta get rid of the old stuff. Okay, that's the main three categories. There's also the goals. These goals that I'm about ready to read you, these are my goals. You have to establish your own goals, but understand that it's important to have these goals so that you know what you're aiming for, so you know that you can get to someplace. Now, you don't necessarily have to hit them in a particular timeline, but give yourself some perspective. There's things on my list here that I know that I could probably do in a relatively quick period, or there's things that I know that might take a little bit more time, and I'm gracious with myself in that respect. Get your goals down on paper, read them to yourself a couple of times a year, and then focus on those as much as you can. So here's my goals for 2020. Now, this is just a short list. There's probably going to be more goals along the way, but these are the ones that I'm focused on right now. My first goal in 2020 is to be self-sustaining in all of my own design projects. I want to be sustainable in the stuff that I make for myself and not really focusing on any freelance projects. Or if I do get freelance projects, I'm getting top dollar for them and I'm only doing a few of those a year. I need to make sure that I do the things to get myself in line so that I can be more sustainable in the work that I do. So the creating of things, whether it's the art or the design or wherever they come together, that the products that I make, that I can turn around and sell, so that that is what brings in the money. I want to do my stuff more than their stuff. I'll take their stuff right now, but soon it's going to be all me. Something else I want to do in 2020 is teach more. I want to teach more stuff, and maybe it's videos here on YouTube, or maybe I'm actually creating Skillshare classes so that people can go there and learn some of the things that are more nuanced, the more detailed, like for instance, like how to get a magazine project scheduled and work together before you get started. That's just one idea. There's plenty of other ideas, but I want to do more teaching. I also would really eventually like to have a better studio space. This place just isn't conducive. It works, it does the job, it serves its purpose, it doesn't cost me any extra money, so that's a plus, but it's not a great space. This garage, the shed that I call it, is really, it's dirty. It's got cracks in the foundation, the doors don't line up, and so wind and rain and dirt get in here, and it's not conducive to the work that I do. So I would really like to at some point get a better, cleaner, more spacious studio space so that I can do all of these things. I can do the art, I can do the design, I can do the podcast and the videos, be comfortable as opposed to feeling cramped and, you know, tightened up with all the other stuff that happens to be in the shed with me. It would also be nice if I could invite people over, like clients or whatever, that I do get, and have them sit in a space that actually looks relatively professional. And the most important goal that I have on my list is building a brand that people recognize, that when they see my stuff, regardless of whether it's the design or the art or whatever, they understand that it comes from me. When they know that I do videos, they know that I do the art. And when they know that I do the art, they know that I do the videos or the podcast or all that stuff. So building a brand that encompasses all of that together. Now, although that sounds really relatively simple, it's actually not a very easy thing to do, because there's still people that come to me that tell me that they didn't even know I did a podcast, which I think is kind of crazy. So part of it comes down to me being better about sharing that with people. And the other part of it is that just, doing, when I'm on the podcast or on the videos, I'm sharing with other people, hey, go check out my website at daveconnery.com. Go check out my website at daveconnery.com. Go check out my website so you can see the work that I'm working on. Go see the podcast, go see the videos, go see all the other things. When I'm on Instagram, share the other stuff. Or when I'm doing work and sending it out to people, let them understand that I've got other things that I do too. Building the brand wholly that encompasses all that stuff, not just the work, but the business and the life. And the last goal is to just make more things. Make more things. Go and make more stuff. Make more videos. Make more podcasts. Make more products. Make more designs. Make more art. I'm not saying more than I did this year. I'm just saying more. Don't ever stop. Don't stop making stuff, because you never know. You never know what thing that you're going to make is going to be the thing that hits you over the top. That stupid thing that you did that you didn't think you wanted to share on Instagram because you thought, wow, it's just dumb, might have been the thing that just happened to hit the right person at the right time to share it with their people, and then next thing you know, bam, you blow up like 4th of July. So keep making, keep sharing, and then make and share some more. All right, folks, that's it for this one. I'm gonna go ahead and head out and nurse this head cold of mine. In the next video, I'm gonna be talking about how I'm killing off Adobe CC and switching over to new programs. How's that for a teaser? That scares the hell out of me, and I will be talking more about that next time. Until then, remember folks, be good today, be better tomorrow. See ya.